We heard from business yesterday, and there's so much palpable frustration around this particular debate, not nuclear per se, but essentially they say the political class has been fighting over the path to net zero for too long. Do you accept that a lack of bipartisanship has got us to this point?
Oh, absolutely. And let's trace it back to the history. When the Greens actually blocked a carbon tax just because it wasn't going far enough. I mean, it's crazy. And now we're still where we are today. All parties are now at net zero 2050. The only variation is how fast we get there and how we get there. Now, the Nationals are very, very committed to the fact that we don't want to see taxes, we don't want to see tariffs, we want to see incentives, we want to see soil carbon sequestration. We want our farmers recognised for the work they do in sequestering carbon in their soils. We want to see farm forestry acknowledged. We want to see that sort of carbon trading, but we don't want to see taxes because it is, at the end of the day, it is the Australian community, the Australian people that end up paying the taxes.
Indeed. And just one final question on this. Given that we've just had an election, the Teals, Labor, the Greens have a pretty clear mandate. The Nationals have a mandate too. But how are you going to operate in this space? Do you agree that you need to be more cooperative? Do you accept Labor's mandate on things like energy and climate policy? And can you bring a little bit more of that bipartisanship to the Parliament?
Well, we'll see what the Parliament brings forward, first and foremost. We won't support proposals that, for example, in the past were locking up productive farmland, all in the name of lowering emissions. That sort of proposal, that sort of policy has to be in the past. But we will support ongoing accreditation of biodiversity. We will support ongoing accreditation of farmers' soil carbon, that sort of thing. The interesting thing about the Teals, however, is that in the regions, it didn't matter who held a regional seat, whether the Nats or the Liberal Party or the Labor Party, the regions predominantly voted for stability. The regions voted for the party that was in at the time. Where people voted for Teals, where people voted for Greens, is where people can afford the risk of change. Whereas regionally, $20 extra on someone's power bill is a real hit. In the seat of Wentworth, maybe less so. So I do think that while those people have a mandate in their constituencies, we need to govern for all of Australia. The government needs to govern for all of Australia, and they need to be very cautious about the unintended consequences of policies and the impact they'll have in our regional areas, which have some of the lowest socioeconomic demographics in the country.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think we've ever done a cross live to Denelquin. So, Perin Davey, thanks so much for your time. We hope to do it again soon.
Thank you very much.